Professor Jayant Mahajan is a seasoned professional with over 2 decades of experience in the corporate sector, complemented by 7 years as a business management academic at Christ University in Lavasa, Pune, India. He has spearheaded the Change Before Climate Change initiative, an extraordinary cycling journey tracing India's borders to raise awareness about the urgent need for climate action. Committed to driving positive change, Jayant exemplifies how individuals can leverage their professional expertise to make a meaningful impact on society and the planet, and take steps in addressing the climate crisis.
The fact that we all are here in this webinar today, we all are responsible tourists and probably also not able to figure out how do you solve this problem of irresponsible tourism. These posters, rather, one of the posters that you see on the screen here, tourists go home. They're becoming a commonplace. I see this happening across different tourist locations across the globe. And I was wondering, why is this happening? Just to set a context, this is our beautiful Earth, and this is the beautiful, fragile layer of environment, what we call as climate, which keeps us alive and thriving in this on this beautiful planet, which is basically our spaceship, which carries us in the space. And this is what we're doing to this spaceship, and this is pure apathy. This is how our spaceship in most of the places looks like. So that set me thinking, why? Why are we doing this? Why are we destroying such a beautiful planet and the climate that is necessary for our own survival? In Hindi, we have a story of a character called a Sheikh Chilli, who is supposed to be a fool, who is on a branch of a tree, and he's cutting the same branch, and later, of course, he falls off. I think we all are no different. So I think the only answer that comes to my mind is in what Gandhiji says. Mahatma Gandhi says, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Or in fact, to take it a little further, not even a single person's greed, because greed has no bounds. So I thought, let me be the change, because again, inspired by one of the Gandhiji's quotes, be the change that you want to see in the world. And that is what inspired this journey of change before climate change. So, as a part of my journey, it took me across the borders of India. I started this journey in Gujarat, that's in Kutch, went down south and along the South India, the West Bengal, the northeastern states, Nepal, Bihar, Burma, and I concluded my journey somewhere in Rajasthan. So essentially, tracing the border of India. The message that I was carrying during this journey was change before climate change. In Hindi, it is Jal, Jungle, Hawa, or Jameen Bachao. That's water, forest, Hawa is air, and land. We have to save it. That was a message which I was carrying during this journey. Today's presentation, I would like to present a case study. This is of a friend. His name is Rupesh Rai, who had undertaken a similar journey. So I'll begin with a small story. So Rupesh, a friend of mine who worked in some very senior positions in big brands like Taj, Thomas Cook. So a typical out and out hospitality tourism guy. Somewhere in 2013, after the big floods in one of the religious tourism destination of India, which is Kedarnath. So there were these huge floods which left the place devastated. It was a big catastrophe. So he was called to visit this place. Many business houses were called by the government so that they could rebuild this place. And he went from more of a hospitality tourism angle to look for some business which he could get for the company to while being a part of redevelopment project of Kedarnath. When he saw this place, he had a complete change in heart. He thought it is he and people like him who have contributed to this disaster. He's a typical hospitality and tourism person. His job is to push tourists to the sites like this. And when he saw, he says, I'm a part of this problem. And he decided to do something out of something to solve this problem, at least do his bit. And that's where he left his typical high paying, high flying corporate career, and he started his own initiative called as Bakri Chap. And he started doing a lot of work in this beautiful place, which he called as a goat village. It's a very interesting branding. Bakri Chap. Bakri is goat, Chap is the brand. So, in fact, I got curious when I met him. Like, why did you give such a funny name to your organization? He said, see, goat is like a cow of poor people. Cow is a little difficult to maintain. So goat is kind of low value, low maintenance, and it gives uh, milk and a lot of things that a farmer would need to sustain. Hence, Bakri Chap. It's like supporting marginalized farmers of India. So, after establishing that brand, operating it for about 5 years, making it profitable, he undertook this journey from Delhi, that's a northern part of India, down to southern part of India, in Madurai, where he visited multiple different people. He went to different universities, village panchayats, and he did his bit to plant trees and spread awareness about climate change and what individual action can do. When he concluded his journey, I took over the baton because we didn't want this journey to end it as a single person's journey, but it should continue as a movement. So I started this journey about 23rd January 2024 from India-Pakistan border, somewhere in Kutch, this part of India. And I traced all these points that you see. These are the places which I visited during my journey. Most of it was cycling. In fact, one of my stops, this is in Chennai, where Hafiz was very kind to host me for a few days where I stayed there. So these are some of the visuals from the journey, the place where I started. This is Run of Kutch, the desert, basically. Now, one of the visuals here is called as Road to Heaven. This part that you see is all white, beautiful desert. And this is a road which goes through it. It's a very beautiful, about 35 kilometers stretch connecting two parts, 2 points of the desert. The reason I'm showing you this is it looks so beautiful in this picture. But while I was cycling, I saw the first signs of irresponsible tourism. While I was cycling, there were a lot of families, a lot of group of friends coming in their cars, parking their cars on this beautiful road, eating there, leaving all the litter of the waste, glasses, papers, plates, plastic plates, cold drink bottles, everything on this beautiful road. And this road to heaven, which had just opened, I think about a year or two back, I'm not sure how long it will stay this way if this attitude of the tourists continue. During this journey, I had an opportunity to connect with the whole spectrum of people, right from the truck drivers to some senior politicians to the newspaper reporters to bureaucrats to uh, army personals, the armed forces, and it was a very enriching experience, and I learned a lot apart from a small contribution which I could make to raise the awareness of about climate change. So for me, now after this journey, it is no longer just an academic subject, which used to be before I undertook this journey. It was more of reading, understanding, looking at documentaries. But now this is more personal to me. And now I actually see sustainability from a very different perspective after this journey. Most of the tourists I find they chase selfies. They want to go to a spot, click photographs, and post it. But for me, it was all about chasing the goats, chasing the potholes, chasing people, and connecting with the place. Even at the cost, I had people asking me, why are you doing this? You are in your 50s. You should be just going home and just chilling. Why you want to go around the country cycling? But I continued this journey. It was really nice. So I believe that travel that respects the communities and nature is the only journey worth undertaking. Else, everything apart from this is irresponsible tourism. So I asked myself, why is this happening? Because these kind of news articles, they feature almost every month. I see them everywhere. This is one of the articles which says there's one of the hill stations in Uttarakhand, which is Masuri. It has fallen victim to over tourism. The tourists had to spend the entire night in the car. Imagine you want to go to some touristy, beautiful place. You take your car and you spend your night in the car and come back home. You couldn't reach the destination. Why? Because of over tourism. So while I was on this journey, I saw the beautiful landscapes, really had great time, but also I met the communities, unfortunate communities who have to shoulder the burden of these careless visitors. So, globalization is a good thing. It has made the travel accessible. I can just buy a ticket and go a few thousand kilometers uh, very quickly. But it has brought its own challenges. The mass influx in the fragile ecosystem, the disruption of the local culture, and the resource exploitation of both all the three water, forests, jungles, all kinds of resources. So now, when we want to solve this problem, let's try and understand who are the players in this entire tourism value chain. One is, of course, the tourists. Second is a middleman. Then we have the service providers and the local hosts and the communities. Now, these people, unless they are each component in this value chain is responsible, we cannot have responsible tourism. Currently, the focus is short term by all the players. They ignore the consequences of the action and see the tourism as a traction. Whereas what we should really be doing is we should be considering impact on the environment, communities, culture, care about long term sustainability, and recognizing the role in protecting the destination. So currently, the tourists they just want to go play, enjoy without caring about the waste, pollution, and the cultural sensitivity. I could go on with a lot of examples, but we don't have much time. So I'll just quickly touch upon these points. However, I'll be happy to take questions during the Q&A session. The middlemen, they just see the destination as a product and they are just worrying about the profits. They don't worry about the carrying capacity, the cultural erosion, the erosion of biodiversity. They're not bothered. The same goes with the service provider. The same goes with the local host. They just want to make quick buck during the tourist season. They don't think if I destroy my culture, if I destroy my place, it won't sustain. In fact, unfortunately, even the government is equally responsible. They look as tourism as a quick ATM. It is a quick way to infuse cash in the economy and obviously create jobs, get votes. So governments they look more short term than long term. There are, of course, political incentives. I infuse money in the economy, I get votes. I build infrastructure without worrying about the carrying capacity, and this is rampant in most of the parts of India, as in many other parts of the world. There are weak regulations and informants. The regulations exist, but implementation is where the problem is. As a result, we have economic system which is degrading, local communities get sidelined, and tourism becomes extractive. You're extracting the resources, you're exploiting the resources, and it is not regenerative. So, how does a responsible tourism looks like? Travel light, respect culture, minimize the footprint. The middlemen should promote authentic, sustainable experiences, not just mass deals. Service providers should invest in eco-friendly practices, care about long-term community and well-being. Hosts should preserve the traditions, ecosystems, and teach travelers the value of slow, mindful living. The governments should shift the focus from quantity to the quality. Support community-led tourism. The Bakri Chop, the example which I'm going to discuss in a short while. Impose carrying capacity limits, seasonal restrictions, and strict waste control policies. So these are some of the do's and don'ts of to fix irresponsible tourism. One, of course, support community-run homestays, respect carrying capacity. The don'ts is don't demand Western luxuries. Even if me as a tourist, if I stop demanding all the unnecessary Western luxuries when I go to some local places, uh, obviously the supply will stop, and we are in a good place in that case. Now, all this is not theory. We have Bhutan exhibiting it through action. What a country with its political will, the communities aligned with the vision, and the tourists are, of course, forced to align with the vision, what they can achieve. So, we already have a ready example, which I actually firsthand experienced when I visited Bhutan. This is a newspaper article on something called as a Ghasiari festival, and it's a part of the example which I'm about to discuss now in the context of Bakri Chap and Rupesh Rai. This I had a good fortune of attending this festival in Uttarakhand, which is close to Uttarkashi. So here, what's happening is this is a Ghasiari festival. Ghasiari is the lady in the village who goes on these hill slopes, the mountain slopes, and cuts the grass. Is called as a Ghasiari. And what Bakri Chap as an organization, Rupesh, he did was he converted this whole simple activity of grass cutting into a whole festival which is attended by thousands of people. In this festival, of course, there are a few hundred people, but the previous editions were much more. Now, how does this fit in our theme of sustainable tourism? So here what we're doing is normally a tourist destination will have a problem when you stop respecting the local culture. I go from a city like Mumbai, I go to a village and I want all the facilities of a city. But and so people stop losing respect for their own culture, and they start behaving like the city people, thus destroying the local culture and the place. But here we are uh, glorifying the local culture, a simple activity like grass cutting, building a whole festival around it. People start respecting their own festival and their own culture because they know that if I preserve this, people will come to see this. So they start valuing it instead of looking down upon it. And this is how you strengthen the local economy and also preserve the local culture. So this is what he, with this brand of Bakri Chap, Boat Village, Goat Village, he's done, preserving the local culture and also strengthening the local economy, and also worked on reverse migration, which was rampant just a few years back. So, in conclusion, I just want to show this quote. A few weeks back, I was watching this movie on YouTube, which is called as the Weeping camel. I urge all of you to watch it. It's very beautiful. And this is one of the stills from the movie, which says we have to remember that we are not the last generations on the earth. So we have to be sustainable. So from over tourism to responsible tourism, let's change before climate change. Thank you.